The galaxy had grown complacent, lulled by its own sense of superiority. Across countless star systems, alien powers whispered of humanity as if it were myth, a tale for children, a cautionary fable about a species too fragile, too unpredictable, too small to matter. Their fleets moved with mechanical precision, their strategies calculated to perfection, their confidence absolute. Humanity, in their eyes, was a legend best left forgotten, yet, in hidden corners of the universe, humanity had not disappeared. Shipyards hummed with quiet activity, engineers bending technology to purpose, pilots running simulations that blurred the line between instinct and calculation. Fleet captains traced battlefields in holographic projections, measuring currents of gravity, fields of radiation, and the hidden patterns in star clusters. Every calculation, every preparation, was infused with a single, unyielding truth: the galaxy had underestimated them. The first glimpse of the human fleet arrived like a whisper on long-range sensors, dismissed at first as an anomaly, a glitch in the reading. Then another signal flickered, then another, tiny pulses that, together, formed a pattern no machine could predict. Across the void, human ships slipped through hidden wormholes, emerged from nebulae, and drifted into systems thought secure. Their engines gleamed with quiet power, their hulls scarred but resolute, their crews ready to prove that legends could. In fact, breathe, think, and fight, alien commanders, confident in their superiority, laughed when first they saw the outlines of human vessels. The shapes were unfamiliar, designs unpredictable, movements erratic yet precise. Their calculations faltered as humans maneuvered with intuition, with creativity, with the audacity that comes from freedom of thought. And in that laughter, they failed to notice the glimmer of something far older, far stronger than technology alone: human resolve. The battle erupted without ceremony. Energy beams slashed the void, torpedoes carved arcs of light, and missiles screamed past shields that bent but did not break. Human pilots wove through fire with a grace that made machines seem clumsy, anticipating enemy maneuvers with insight no algorithm could replicate. Each vessel, though small against alien capital ships, acted in concert, a living organism guided by courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable will. Between volleys, quiet moments allowed reflection. Captains watched distant stars, calculating not only trajectories, but consequences. Engineers patched engines and recalibrated weapon systems mid-battle, turning near disaster into opportunity. Crews whispered strategies, sharing knowledge in a language of trust and intuition. It was not only a war of firepower, but a war of minds, and humanity had long since mastered the battlefield of thought. The alien fleet, once confident, began to falter. Calculations failed. Formations broke. Their arrogance became vulnerability. And in those moments of hesitation, the humans struck with a combination of precision and creativity that shattered expectation. Ships exploded in waves of color, systems failed in patterns no prediction could account for, and morale fractured under the relentless ingenuity of their foe. As the smoke of battle drifted through the void, the human fleet held its formation. The damage was real, but the victory was undeniable. Ships floated like silent monuments to courage, ingenuity, and moral resolve. Humanity had not merely survived, they had proven that even the smallest, most underestimated species could reshape the rules of engagement, rewrite the course of war, and etch their presence into the galaxy's memory. In the soft glow of distant stars, with engines humming quietly and the debris of vanquished fleets reflecting the light, the crews allowed themselves a single moment of understanding. They had done what legends only dreamed. They had turned myth into reality, and so, across the endless expanse, the galaxy learned that humans were no legend, they were inevitability. The fleet moved deeper into contested space, each vessel a thread in a web of calculated motion, each crew member a mind tuned to the rhythm of the mission. Engines hummed like living hearts. Shields pulsed with quiet energy, and every pilot, every gunner, every tactician understood instinctively the balance between action and patience. The humans had learned that war was not merely about destruction, it was about timing, foresight, and knowing when to strike so decisively that hesitation became impossible, alien commanders, still reeling from the first shock, tried to regain control, barking orders into broken communication channels. Their formations wavered, calculations ran awry, and their confidence faltered under the fluid, unpredictable strategy of humans. Each human ship flowed through gaps in the enemy lines, exploiting weaknesses with an elegance that was both terrifying and precise. Torpedoes threaded through shields, energy beams bent around decoys, and missiles struck where enemy minds had failed to anticipate. Quiet moments between assaults were brief but vital. Engineers labored under harsh lights to repair minor damage, recalibrate sensors, and reprogram targeting arrays in the heat of battle. Pilots adjusted trajectories instinctively, anticipating the shifting positions of both enemy and allies, while captains scanned the stars for the subtle signs of opportunity hidden in the void. Every small action amplified the effectiveness of the fleet, a chain of ingenuity and resolve that no machine or algorithm could disrupt. Even in the midst of chaos, human crews found reflection. They measured not only damage but consequence, weighing every decision with judgment tempered by experience and moral clarity. Each move was an assertion of identity, a declaration that humanity would not bow, would not retreat, and would not be underestimated. Their intelligence was alive, adaptable, and fearless, capable of turning every obstacle into a weapon, every surprise into an advantage. The alien forces, once arrogant and unyielding, began to fracture. Confusion replaced confidence, hesitation replaced strategy, and panic seeped through their ranks. Each failed maneuver became a new opening for the humans to exploit. By the time distant stars began to rise, scattering light across debris-strewn space, it was clear that the tide had shifted irreversibly. The human fleet, though tested and scarred, had transformed from a rumor whispered in the galaxy into a force impossible to ignore, and in the quiet hum of engines and the glint of distant starlight on hulls, one truth echoed across the void: when humans act with courage, intelligence, and unity, the universe itself must take heed. The human fleet pressed onward, each vessel moving with a fluidity that made the alien commander's meticulous calculations seem laughable. Stars streaked past as thrusters adjusted to the subtle currents of gravitational fields, nebulae, and debris, creating a ballet of motion that only minds honed by instinct and experience could orchestrate. The humans were not merely reacting, they were anticipating, predicting, and shaping the battlefield as if the void itself answered to their will. Every pulse of energy, every shift in trajectory, every decision to hold or advance was a statement. They would not be controlled, constrained, or dismissed. Alien forces scrambled desperately to regain footing. Their massive ships, gleaming and menacing, could no longer dominate through sheer size or firepower. Calculated formations became chaotic under the relentless adaptability of human tactics. Torpedoes weaved through expected paths, beams were deflected by micro-adjustments in shields, and missile swarms found gaps in defense no algorithm had foreseen. The humans fought not as isolated crews but as a single consciousness spread across hundreds of vessels, each movement informed by knowledge, courage, and trust in one another. Within the fleet, the tension was palpable yet controlled. Pilots moved with precision, trusting their instincts honed by months of preparation. Engineers crawled along hulls, repairing critical systems under fire, hands moving with skill and certainty born from countless trials. Captains and tacticians plotted the flow of engagement, considering variables invisible to the enemy: asteroid fields, solar flares, microgravity pockets, each exploited to human advantage. The void itself became a tool, each star and shadow a weapon in the orchestration of victory. Amidst the chaos, quiet reflection threaded through the crews like a lifeline. They assessed not only the physical battlefield but the moral stakes, recognizing that their actions carried consequences beyond mere survival. Each decision to strike, to protect, or to maneuver carried the weight of history. Humanity's resolve was not fueled solely by survival instinct, it was sharpened by foresight, ingenuity, and the understanding that they represented more than themselves. Every victory, no matter how small, reaffirmed their place in the galaxy, defying centuries of underestimation. As the engagement extended across light years of contested space, alien confidence began to crumble. Commands arrived late or misinterpreted, formations collided, and advanced systems faltered against the unpredictable brilliance of human initiative. The humans exploited hesitation with surgical precision, neutralizing threats while conserving their own strength. Every strike reinforced a single unassailable truth: intelligence, courage, and unity outweighed raw power and arrogance. By the time distant stars lit the edges of nebulae, the alien fleet was fractured and demoralized. Ships drifted, disabled or burning, and silence settled over the battlefield like a heavy curtain. The human fleet, battered but cohesive, floated through the remnants with quiet authority, engines humming with measured power. They had not only won, they had transformed perception itself, turning myth into reality, and proving that even a species once dismissed as legend could shape the course of entire star systems. And in that calm, as starlight glinted off scarred hulls and debris floated silently through the void, the galaxy was forced to recognize an undeniable truth: humans, in their ingenuity, courage, and unity, could rewrite the rules of the cosmos. The human fleet, though tested and scarred, moved onward. With deliberate determination, each ship a testament to the will, intelligence, and ingenuity of its crew. Engines hummed in synchrony, shields pulsed like hearts beating in time, and every pilot, every gunner, every tactician understood instinctively the rhythm of the battlefield. They did not merely respond to threats, they shaped the flow of combat itself, bending the environment of space to their purpose. Nebulae became curtains to obscure movement, asteroid belts served as shields, and gravitational currents were used to accelerate strikes or divert enemy fire. Humanity's creativity transformed the void into both weapon and ally. The alien commanders, previously smug in their assumptions of superiority, scrambled to adapt. Their massive ships, precise and powerful, could no longer dominate through force alone. Calculations faltered as human vessels moved unpredictably yet with precision, turning chaos into opportunity. Torpedoes intercepted enemy missiles, energy beams twisted around decoys, and swarms of drones executed maneuvers that exploited the tiniest weaknesses. The humans acted not as separate crews but as an organism, each decision informed by intuition, experience, and unshakable resolve. Inside the human vessels, tension coexisted with focus. Pilots flew with nerves of steel, weaving between enemy fire while scanning for opportunities. Engineers crawled through hulls, repairing and recalibrating systems mid-engagement, hands moving with a practiced certainty born of countless simulations and experience. Captains and strategists read the battlefield like a living map, anticipating the movements of the enemy and the needs of their own forces in real time. Every calculation, every micro-adjustment, every split-second decision reinforced the fleet's cohesion and effectiveness. Even in the midst of unrelenting combat, moments of reflection persisted. Crews measured not only immediate threats but the broader stakes, the consequences of their actions, the ripple effects across star systems, the affirmation of humanity's place in the galaxy. Morale, discipline, and courage intertwined, creating a feedback loop of resilience and ingenuity. Each victory, each maneuver that turned an attack into an advantage, strengthened the fleet's confidence and deepened the resolve to overcome any obstacle. However formidable, the alien forces, once confident in their supremacy, began to falter. Confusion replaced command, hesitation replaced precision, and morale crumbled under relentless pressure. Their formations collapsed, and previously synchronized attacks became disjointed chaos. Human vessels, exploiting the slightest hesitation, struck with calculated decisiveness. Every success reinforced the truth that adaptability, creativity, and unity outweighed raw technological power. As distant stars cast pale light across the battlefield, the human fleet continued to advance. Debris from shattered alien vessels drifted silently, illuminated by the glow of energy arcs and engine thrusters. The humans had not merely survived, they had rewritten expectations, proving that even a species once considered legend could assert dominance through courage, intelligence, and moral clarity. The galaxy, silent and awestruck, was forced to reckon with this reality, and as the fleet drifted through the quiet aftermath, engines humming softly and crews surveying the void, the enduring truth shone clear: when humanity acts with ingenuity, courage, and unity. No force, however mighty, can ignore its presence. The human fleet pressed onward, stretching across the void like a living tapestry of strategy, ingenuity, and determination. Every ship, from nimble scouts to massive carriers, moved in perfect harmony, engines pulsing like synchronized heartbeats. The void itself seemed to bend around them, a canvas for their precision and creativity. Pilots adjusted trajectories instinctively, weaving through asteroid fields and gravity wells, while tactical officers coordinated maneuvers across hundreds of light-years with a clarity and foresight that defied conventional understanding. Every action was deliberate, every decision weighted with experience, insight, and moral clarity. The alien commanders, once supremely confident, were forced into chaos. Their massive warships, powerful and gleaming, could no longer rely on overwhelming force. Formations fractured under the unpredictable ingenuity of human maneuvers. Energy beams twisted through decoys, missiles veered off course under subtle interference, and torpedoes struck with near-prescient accuracy. The humans had turned improvisation into strategy, intuition into a weapon, and experience into decisive advantage. Every movement, every countermeasure, spoke of a species that thrived in unpredictability and refused to be confined by expectation. Within the human vessels, the intensity of combat was balanced by extraordinary focus. Engineers crawled along hulls and through cramped conduits, repairing vital systems while alarms blared and fires flickered across panels. Pilots calculated maneuvers instinctively, anticipating enemy positions and allied movements with uncanny accuracy. Captains and tacticians projected holographic battle maps, tracking variables invisible to the naked eye, radiation flares, drifting debris, microgravitational currents, all integrated seamlessly into the evolving strategy. It was a symphony of intellect and courage, where every small act amplified the fleet's collective power. Amid the chaos, quiet reflection remained central. Crews considered the implications of every strike, every maneuver, and every engagement. They understood the weight of their actions across the stars, the survival of colonies, the preservation of knowledge, the assertion of humanity's place in the galaxy. Courage was measured not only in firepower but in patience. In judgment, in the capacity to wait for the perfect moment to act decisively. Each small victory, each successful evasion or counterattack, reinforced the belief that intelligence, unity, and moral resolve were as formidable as any weapon. The alien forces faltered under the relentless human ingenuity. Their once precise attacks became erratic, communications fragmented, and confidence dissolved into fear. Ships collided, misfired, or were neutralized by the fluid tactics of humans who could anticipate actions before they fully materialized. Human vessels struck with surgical precision, exploiting hesitation and chaos, demonstrating that the true measure of strength was not size or technology but creativity. Courage and coordination. By the time distant suns cast their first light across debris-strewn space, the alien fleet had been broken. Disabled ships drifted in silence, and the remnants of their formations scattered into retreat. The human fleet, though carrying the scars of engagement, remained intact, organized, and supremely confident. They had not merely survived, they had redefined the rules of warfare, transformed perception, and proven that humanity's combination of intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome any force in the galaxy. And in the quiet hum of engines, with starlight reflecting off scarred hulls and floating debris, one truth became undeniable: humans were not merely a species to be feared, they were a reckoning. The human fleet advanced deeper into contested space, moving with a cohesion and precision that transformed the void into a stage for audacious strategy. Each vessel responded instinctively to the shifting battlefield, engines humming like living arteries, shields pulsing in perfect rhythm, and weapons systems calibrated with an almost organic intuition. The humans had transcended simple tactics, they fought with foresight, creativity, and an understanding of space itself as a tool. Nebulae became veils for surprise maneuvers, asteroid fields shields for daring advances, and gravitational currents were harnessed to launch attacks no algorithm could predict. Each movement was a declaration: humanity would not be ignored. Underestimated, or subdued, the alien commanders, their confidence eroded by relentless precision and ingenuity, attempted to regain control. Massive ships that once inspired fear now seemed cumbersome and vulnerable. Their formations wavered under the unpredictable fluidity of human tactics, and every hesitation was an opportunity seized. Missiles that should have destroyed entire squadrons were intercepted, beams of energy bent or diverted, and torpedoes struck with prescient accuracy. Humanity acted not as isolated crews but as a single organism, each ship and mind in seamless coordination, every movement reinforcing the fleet's unyielding strength. Within the vessels, the tension was immense but disciplined. Pilots maneuvered with the calm of centuries-old instinct, weaving between energy storms, debris fields, and enemy fire with uncanny precision. Engineers crawled along hulls, repairing critical systems under extreme duress, hands moving with certainty born from years of rigorous preparation. Tactical officers calculated shifts in enemy formations in real time, predicting maneuvers before they were even attempted. Every small action, every micro-adjustment, multiplied the effectiveness of the fleet, turning individual skill into collective dominance. Even amidst continuous combat, quiet moments of reflection threaded through the crews like lifeblood. Decisions were measured not only for tactical effect but for their ethical and strategic consequences. Every strike, every evasion, every act of protection carried the weight of humanity's reputation, its history, and its unyielding resolve. Courage was tempered with foresight, intelligence blended with creativity, and every human aboard understood that they were not only fighting for survival but for proof that their species deserved recognition in the galaxy. The alien forces, once unshakable in their arrogance, began to unravel. Disorganization replaced coordination, hesitation replaced strategy, and fear seeped through their ranks. Ships misfired, collided, or were neutralized with precision that bordered on inevitability. Every opportunity humans created was exploited with ruthless efficiency, demonstrating that adaptability and moral clarity outweighed raw technological superiority. The battlefield became a testament to the human capacity for ingenuity, courage, and unity under pressure, as the light of distant stars spilled across the battlefield, illuminating drifting debris and the gleaming hulls of human vessels. The alien fleet lay broken and retreating. The human armada, though battle-scarred, remained intact and resolute, an unbroken force that had transformed myth into reality. Humanity had not only won, it had rewritten expectations, challenged the arrogance of the galaxy, and proved that intelligence, courage, and moral resolve could triumph over any foe. And in that serene moment, with engines humming and the void filled with the quiet glow of victory, one truth became undeniable: when humanity acts with unity, creativity, and unshakable courage, the universe itself must acknowledge its presence. And so, the stars learned that humans were not merely legends, they were inevitability.